let's start where I left off. At this point, I'm pregnant. My world is about to flip upside down. So let's rewind. My now husband and I were riding around when we first met. We were at a red light, and out of the blue, he asked me if I wanted kids. And I said, yes, I did. I wanted one, and I wanted a boy. I forgot about that moment for the longest time. It was random. He never said anything after that. So here we are. I'd been drinking 24/7. We were about to celebrate our friend's anniversary. The friends that introduced us the year prior, we were about to celebrate their anniversary. And you know what that means? That means party, drink. We're gonna go do all those things. And I'd been feeling sick for 2 months prior to that. And my friend's like, you might need to take a pregnancy test. I'm sure you're thinking, how did you not know you were pregnant? Well, when you drink 24/7, there's a lot you don't know. So I took a pregnancy test, or 10, and I was pregnant. My son saved my life. I did not tell anyone but my best friend I didn't tell him for 3 months that I was pregnant. He noticed I quit drinking, but I just told him, I decided to quit drinking. And I'm sure he knew. He would ask me every now and then, are you pregnant? I didn't show because I had gained so much weight for drinking. So I actually lost weight when I found out I was pregnant. Imagine that. So anyway, during that time, there had always been rumors flying. I'd heard rumors about me that weren't true. So I never knew what was true and what was not. So I had heard rumors that my husband, I don't even know what you want to call him at that point in life, my best friend, he's always been my best friend, was on drugs. And I would see things, but I wasn't exactly sure because he's not normal to begin with. He does everything completely opposite of your average person. And he's always said, well, I'd be normal. What is normal? And we don't know, but he's far from it. So I wasn't sure, but I would notice things. But I was so, trying to figure out what was going on in my life. I did tell him about 3 months later. He went with me to my ultrasound to find out the gender reveal. And guess what? It was a boy, and he was so excited. I was so excited. And at that moment, I remembered him asking me if I wanted kids. And I told him I did. I wanted one and a boy. And we got that gift. My pregnancy was very easy. God knew I needed it to be easy. I had no complications. I only had some morning sickness, and if I would have known what it was and I would have eaten, it probably wouldn't have been as bad. So anyway, it wasn't hard at all. It was actually phenomenal. I missed out on a lot because I was trying to figure out what was going on with my son's father. Is he on drugs? Where is he? What is he doing? I'm not the type to go and stalk and figure out what in the world you're doing. At this point in life, we were living together. We had bought a house, and he would disappear. Just completely disappeared. Didn't know where he was, what he was doing. This is before Life 360. Maybe I wish I would have had that at the time. So while I was pregnant, I was at home. We're completely renovating our house, painting it, getting it ready. And my husband would just disappear. No clue where he was. While I was pregnant. Learning all these new things about myself and wondering what in the world is going on with my life. So, there were some nights he would come home and he was painting one of the rooms in our house. And I didn't go in there because I didn't want to have any of the fumes. I didn't want any of that in my system. Or I didn't want to be around the fumes. So I was talking to him, and he all of a sudden had quit talking to me. And I went to nudge on the door, and I couldn't open it. And I could peek just a little bit, and I could see his body laying there. And that's when I realized we had a problem. I pushed, and I pushed, and I pushed, and I could not get that door open. Finally, I shoved with everything I had, and the door opened, and he was passed out. Still in the back of my mind, I just figured he was tired because he had been up trying to finish this room before the baby came. Well, we'll fast forward. I found out I was pregnant, but when I found out I was pregnant, I had already been pregnant for 2 months. So I think I had about 7 months of pregnancy. Again, it was great. I remember the night my water broke, or so I thought it broke. My husband had just left, and it was a miracle he was even still around. I called him, and I said, my water broke, we need to go to the hospital. So he came back home, and he drove us to the hospital, and that's a miracle in itself that he was here, that he was somewhat sober-minded, that he could get us there safely because I wasn't driving. And we made it to the hospital. We were there for hours and hours and hours and hours, and finally they had to do a C-section. We had a beautiful baby boy. He was born with red hair and dark eyes. I was wondering if they gave us the right kid, but years down the road, they did give us the right kid, but our redhead, brown-eyed boy was born, and that little boy saved my life. And that is when my world really started to flip upside down. And I will tell you more about that next time. So my pregnancy was phenomenal, but yet I missed out on so much because this town, everybody knows everybody, or they think they know everybody. So one thing that was about me, I didn't sleep around. And so for me to get pregnant outside of marriage was a shock to everyone. So I kept it a secret, and I regret that because my little boy is the best thing that's ever happened to me. He saved my life, and I missed out on that. But he's here today. He has a story. I have a story. He saved my life. He tells me that God saved my life, but God sent my husband to help me create the most beautiful little boy to save my life. And I will tell you more later.